RMC is one of the most well-known coaster manufacturers, and their two newest coasters are ArieForce 1 and Wildcats Revenge, both with their similarities and differences, so today I will be comparing the two in a coaster clash. This is Zero G Coasters. I post weekly roller coaster commentary and vlogs, so if you're interested, feel free to subscribe so I can hit my goal of 1,500 subscribers by the end of the year. If not, sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. To start off the categories, let's look at the stats of these rides. We start fairly standard with the height. Both these rides are in the middle range of RMCs in terms of height, but Arie is slightly taller at 155 feet compared to the 140-foot tall lift on Wildcats Revenge. Speed is also a close matchup as Wildcats Revenge tops out at 62 miles per hour, while Arie slightly beats it with a 64 miles per hour top speed. Arie goes up with a score of 2-0. Next up, let's look at these coasters' presentation. Wildcats Revenge has an ominous entrance sign with the old coaster track above in bold letters that stand out, while Arie is more standard with a few signs here and there, but nothing incredible at the entrance. One thing I will give to Arie though is that you can see this ride from the whole park. It pretty much towers over everything and you can see it from quite a while away, while Wildcats Revenge is cool at first going into the park, but because Hershey is such a wooded park, it's hard to see until you get close. ArieForce 1's queue has some loose theming with cool artifacts from the ride's construction, and the station looks nice as well. On the other side, Wildcats Revenge doesn't have a theme queue, but the views of the ride are unmatched, and the station looks sleek and modern as well. Combine that with the dominating presence over Hershey Boulevard, and Wildcat gets the point. In terms of the actual ride, let's start off with the pre-lift. While ArieForce 1 has a pretty decent pre-lift with a small drop and 2 bunny hills, Wildcat trumps it with its powerful banked hills and good drops, being the best on an RMC and starting the ride off with a bang. The score is now dead even at 2-2. The first drops on these rides are nearly identical, as the 15 feet and 1 extra degree on Arie don't do much for it, so I will be judging this category based on visuals. Both coasters are plopped right next to a large boulevard, and while Arie only has trees in the vicinity, you can see the rolling hills of Pennsylvania and the rest of Hershey during this moment, and also the camera at the bottom of the drop can be blinding during night and sunset rides, so therefore I will be giving the point the Wildcats Revenge. Wildcats Revenge makes an epic comeback to lead 3-2. The next element on these RMCs is the turnaround. These coasters have very different elements, although being unique in their own way, with Wildcats Revenge having the world's largest underflip, while Arie has the only Raven Trust dive in the world. The underflip on Revenge is great in the front rows during the beginning, giving a rapid whip that feels like a reverse death roll, but the turn and pull out of the element is quite boring, and in the back row you don't get a ton of forces on the underflip, mainly just some hang time during the top of it. Meanwhile, ArieForce has a crazy dive loop style element with twisted airtime towards the top before diving down to the ground for the next elements, leaving you question your sanity. But we're coaster enthusiasts. Did we even have it in the first place? But Arie by far has the better turnaround and will take the point for this category, making it a tie game again. The next category is the Zero G stall, and ArieForce 1 was made for this, as it has the longest and best stall in a coaster in North America, lasting at various lengths depending on the time you ride, but it averages at 2 to 3 seconds, as demonstrated by Dr. Coaster in the clip. That is enough time to play a fully fledged game of rock, paper, scissors. Wildcats Revenge still has a great stall and some scary head choppers, but it would be really hard to win over a lengthy and huge stall. Arie takes the point and goes up 4-3. Looking in terms of variety, Arie has a lot of straight airtime hills such as the double up and quad down, but it also has some twisted airtime like the outer bank and hill in the back half. Wildcats Revenge doesn't have much straight airtime, with the majority being either overbanked such as the wave turn or outer banked. Wildcats Revenge gets the point as it is much more than just airtime, with fun turns, airtime, and inversions all mixed in. And while I'm not saying Arie doesn't have variety, a majority of what makes this ride so amazing is the straight airtime hills such as the double up, and that's why I'm giving the point to Wildcats Revenge, because it has so much more than that. Inversions is a tough category as these coasters have very unique and intense inversions, both being different from one another. Since we already compared the stall and the turnaround inversions, let's look at the inversions on the back half of each ride. ArieForce 1 has 2 heartline roll-like maneuvers which give crazy whip and some laterals, while Wildcat has 2 Zero G rolls, with the first mainly having whip and laterals, while the second has hang time while still also having some whip in the back row. While Arie has the overall best inversion on both of these rides, which is the arcade roll, Wildcat's two punchy inversions take the point, as they are more than just whip and ladder rolls. The final ride category we will be looking at is the last set of airtime hills. ArieForce 1 ends it off with a quad down, which absolutely destroys your thighs in every row and slams into the brake run, while Wildcat's Revenge does pretty much the same thing, but with a terrain setting and has a little bit more twist to it, while still slamming into the brake run at an absolutely insane speed. Now, there's not a lot of debate as to which airtime is better, but Wildcat's Revenge has much more comfortable airtime. The whole reason why ArieForce 1 isn't the most re-rideable is because of the quad down, and it's not necessarily comfortable, but Wildcat's Revenge pretty much does the same. Therefore, I will be giving the point to ArieForce 1, tying this game up. Going back into stats, let's look at length for these rides. Wildcat's Revenge has a length of 3,510 feet long, which is an average size for an RMC, and is a pretty long ride when you're on it. While ArieForce 1 kind of feels a bit short, but it's not much farther behind at 3,400 feet. Wildcat's Revenge takes the point and goes up, with two more categories left. The second to final category is going to be intensity, and while I know Wildcat's Revenge was made for younger audiences, there's no denying the fact that ArieForce 1 is one of the most intense RMCs, and it would win this category against many other RMC coasters. ArieForce 1 ties this game up going into the last category, which is airtime. RMCs normally specialize in airtime, so these rides are mainly focused towards it, so let's see which ride has better airtime. While Wildcat's Revenge is more than just straight airtime hills, the airtime on the sideways bank turns and outer banks are still really good, making this a solid RMC in terms of airtime. There was a reason I was saving this category for last, because while Wildcat's Revenge has great airtime, ArieForce 1 is on another level when it comes to airtime. It is one of my highest ranked RMCs because of this reason, and in fact, it is one of my top 5 coasters because of this airtime. When you think the ride is over with its airtime, it just keeps going. Think about it. You have the bunny hill in between the stall and the Raven Trust dive, the outer bank, the double up. Even the hills in the back half of the ride between the two rolls are intense. And because of this, Arie takes the category and beats out Wildcat's Revenge with a score of 6-5. But those are just my thoughts on these two coasters. If you have ridden both coasters, comment down below which one is better, and if you haven't, make an opinion on which one do you think will be better. This is Zero G Coaster signing out. Have a great day, and I'll see you on the next train.